Hello and welcome to the Mixing Glass brought to you by Bardtenders. My name is Michael Windsor. I'm your co host for the evening, and we've got a great show for you as always. But before we move any further, we have to bring our fearless leader back into the mix, our general manager, the John Daly of the podcast world, Mr. Jonathan Mateer.
I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, what are we doing here?
We were talking about you golfing, you drink alcohol, it works. He's an American hero. Honestly, you should take that as a compliment.
Biggest mistake. I've lived in Florida now, 10 years-ish, almost off and on. And somehow today I forgot that at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's hot in Florida, and I absolutely got sunburned, no sunscreen, nothing, ready to rock and roll. So that's on me. Mike, you know what I'm excited about?
That you and John Daly both have the same wardrobe?
That is true. I will give you that one. Certainly tonight, but I would say at least 50% of my wardrobe matches up with his. Thank you for doing that to me. No, I'm excited. We recorded our 30th episode of Campaign 2 last night. That was pretty sick.
Oh, was it really 30?
It's so crazy that we've come already that far in just this year alone. So
we've laughed, we've cried, we've almost died.
We have, but we're not here to talk about D&D, although we might slip some in. We're not here to talk about that tonight. I heard we have guests on the show.
Well, of course, John. You heard correctly. Yeah, tonight we're going to be talking with Frankie Francis. Frankie is a professional bartender that makes cocktails inspired by video games. He's been a bartender for over 15 years now and a nerd for much longer. His content consists of cocktails, mixology, restaurant and service industry humor, and gaming nostalgia. He's been creating content on social media for almost 4 years now, and his audience is currently over 350,000 followers across all platforms. Welcome to the show, Frankie.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. Appreciate it. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, excited
Cheers
to have you on.
Cheers to both of you guys. Cheers to both of you guys. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah.
There you go. Cheers.
Candle, get the hell out of here. No, we're excited. We love it when we get to nerd out a little bit. Yeah, we talk about cocktails and everything, but it's not all the time that all of our guests are as nerdy or maybe even nerdier than we are, which is super, super exciting. So I'm super pumped tonight. This is great.
We're gonna see who can hang. So how nerdy can we get tonight?
I have full faith in you. But before we get too far off the rails, I know you got a 20-sided die over there. If you want to give that bad boy a roll, we got an icebreaker question for you.
All righty, let's see what we got. So I've got number 6, it looks like.
Number 6. Okay, here we go. If you could turn one movie into a musical, what would it be?
I don't know if I've ever.
Or honestly, we're here. We're gaming too. If you want to do a movie and a video game turned into a musical, I think that could be a lot of fun too.
A movie into a musical. Wow. So to me, if you can turn Evil Dead into a musical, you can turn anything into a musical. So
That's true.
I'm going down the list of like my top 10 favorite movies, and I'm scrolling through in my brain, and I think that Scarface the musical sounds intriguing. I just say hello to my little friend. She get the yayo. I mean, like,
so good.
Because I mean, like, some of my favorite movies of all time are like, classics like Ghostbusters, Casablanca, The Godfather, but to me, Scarface as a musical just sounds a lot funnier. So I really kind of want to see that. So
good, Mike.
As for a video game turned to a musical, God, that's a tough question. I feel like it would have to be something that's really not that serious. I mean, Metal Gear Solid the musical just doesn't sound that intriguing to me. So I don't know, maybe something like I don't know. Maybe something like Blades of Steel, the musical. I don't know, the hockey game from the 80s. I mean, when's the last time you saw a hockey musical? So, I mean, that's what's intriguing to me. So,
when was the last time I saw a musical?
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what, that could be a lot of
yeah,
fun. You bring in one of those ice bars where people wear the jackets, you get like fully into it.
yeah.
You actually
The
put
ice
like a
luge
little
too for drink.
frame.
Ever have
That's
drinks?
how you get to your
Have drinks the
seats.
ice luge. That'd be awesome.
Slide down into your row. I'm here for that.
Everybody shows up on. Everybody shows up on skates.
That's mandatory. Absolutely. You have to sign waivers and
Yeah.
everything too. Mike, what about you? You got a movie?
I can't beat Scarface, so I'm not going to try. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, Starship Troopers was the first thing that popped into my mind. But
Yeah.
I would definitely want the more conspiratorial side of things too, to where, it's the government lying to the people about the bugs to, create a forever war. I would want that element worked into there. But I don't know why, but that was the first thing that popped into my mind for whatever reason. I'd watch it.
I'll tell you what, I just finished
I would too.
watching the series finale of the Alien Earth TV show last night.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Alien as like a space rock opera. And I
Dude,
think
have you never seen that Bob's Burgers episode?
No. Does it exist?
Oh, are you serious? So they Linda misses the musicals of the kids, so they all describe it, but I can't remember what happened. They all make something up, and Tina does Alien the musical.
God, that's so good.
But
Now
it's
I
like
have
it's
to
like
go
a
watch
Freaky
it. It already
Friday. It's like
exists.
yeah, you got
My dreams have been realized.
Yeah, it's really good. Check it out.
Heck yeah. All right. We're not here to just talk about movies turning into musicals. We're here to talk about you tonight, the gaming mixologist. So we ask every guest who comes on the show, what was your first taste of the world of hospitality? What was your first job? What drew you in and made you be a sucker and stay here as long as we have?
Yeah. I mean, sucker. Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of truth to that. So in my previous life, I was kind of on the opposite of the spectrum. So I was actually a personal trainer for a long time, and I was pretty successful for about almost 10 years. And then in 2008, that's when the economy kind of crashed. So my
For the first time
a lot of my yeah, a lot
in
folks get
recent
many,
years.
but
Yeah, I was gonna say
yeah,
definitely not for
but
the first time, John.
That's fine. I have a history
but
degree.
well, that was
I
the
can't
first one that
tell.
really kind of affected me personally. It was and I remember just like a lot of my, personal training clients at that time, they just stopped going because a lot of their income was, changed dramatically. So I remember that a lot of people don't remember during that time, bars and restaurants actually flourished pretty good during that whole, crash. And I went to a bar one night, and I couldn't tell you the name of the bar or where I was, but I was watching the bartender just making drinks, and he was maintaining like multiple conversations about multiple different subjects with different guests. He'd be talking about the Red Sox with this guest over here, and they would switch over to making some sort of movie reference to this guy here, and they would talk about something else to this person over here. And I'm watching him the whole time, and he doesn't stop moving. Like he's constantly making drinks, he's constantly engaged with his guests, and he's jumping from conversation. He's getting other people to join in the conversation. They're next to him. They're next to these people so that he can work and these guests can talk to each other. And I'm watching this the whole time, like I could do that. Like I don't know thing one about making drinks or the restaurant industry, but I know my personality. I know my ability to talk to people. And I know that I could easily translate to that once I learned the craft of bartending. So I just started looking into that. So I did what I thought was the right thing, and it's kind of a laughed upon in in the service industry. Is I went to a bartending school, or a bar. It
You
was
have
more
a
of a
framed
bartending
diploma
yeah.
hanging on the wall back there. Oh yeah.
I wish I do not I don't I have the certificate. I have no idea where it is, but I did the class for a couple of weekends. I learned a lot, and I thought that I was going to have an easy into the industry, not realizing that bartending school is kind of laughed at in the restaurant industry. It's like, oh, you're at bartending school, you know absolutely nothing. So, which was true. And I applied to probably 50 different bars and restaurants, just trying to get my foot in the door anywhere. And nobody would get back to me, and nobody was interested. But as with most people, you have a friend who works in the industry that would get me in. So I had a friend that got me into a restaurant in the North End in Boston as a bar back, and that was where I started. I was literally just a gopher for the bartender, just getting ice, doing prep work for them. I remember that blue cheese stuffed olives were kind of a new thing at the time, so I remember I would
Oh
have to
yeah. Were
start my
you doing
shift
it
with
yourself?
I had to do it from scratch. Yeah, just 2 giant jars of olives and one big ass block of blue cheese, and just taking all the pits out, saving the olive brine for dirty martinis, and stuffing them with blue cheese, putting them back in the jar, and just that was part of my prep work for every shift. And then eventually I bartended a handful of shifts there, and I was very fortunate to have a guy who really kind of taught me the ropes of how to bartend little by little. And after that, I just went to, over the last 15, almost 16 years now, I've worked at almost every kind of establishment possible. I've worked in Mexican restaurants, I've worked in Brazilian rodizios, I've worked in Chinese restaurants, Italian restaurants, I've worked on cruise ships, I've worked in hotel bars, and currently I work in it's kind of a pub atmosphere, like rustic New England seafood kind of deal, and that's
Mm.
kind of where I'm at now. And that's kind of how I got my foot into hospitality, and I serve occasionally too. I'm more comfortable behind the bar. I like my
Like your 3 feet of
fortress of
space between
solitude with the
you and the
walls
kid.
bar. I do, yes. So
Fortress of
there are
solitude.
many
That's
reasons.
so good.
Yeah, many reasons as to why. But yeah, I've done some serving, but mostly just bartending for the last 16 years. It
Nice.
started part-time, and I was still personal training full-time. And then eventually it shifted to personal training less, bartending more, because I was having more fun. I was making better money. And
Yeah.
eventually I stopped training altogether. And that was in 2014. So I've been bartending full-time for 11 years now.
Yes, I love the juxtaposition of like, come on, we're gonna get you fit, we're gonna get you in shape to no, you could have another one. Yeah, yeah, get yourself
Yeah.
another one, treat yourself,
That's the walking contradiction that is my life. Well, that was my life at the time. So I still feel that way. I mean, life's all about balance, just got
Yep.
to keep it balanced.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially, I mean, that's got to be great for you too, having that inside knowledge about being a personal trainer and fitness. And there's so many people in the hospitality world that pretty much ignore those parts of what it is to be a human working in the hospitality industry, ignoring the
Yeah.
personal fitness, maybe eating food that's not so great for you over a trash can in the middle of a rush because you haven't had food all day, so
Guilty.
that's huge. We've all been
Mhm.
there, right? I still do it every once in a while. My
Oh
doctor's
yeah,
not
myself
happy,
included.
but I
And
do it.
yeah, myself included. I
So I
mean, there's a lot of late night food, and there's booze pretty prevalent, but also it takes a toll on your body. I mean, and I've had to listen to my body quite a bit, especially now that I'm 45 now. So things don't work as they used to. So like, all of a sudden I'll be done with the shift and be like, oh, my back is killing me. And then this hurts and that hurts. So it's like, you got to take care of yourself with, have right footwear, excuse me, having the proper footwear is huge. But you gotta take care of yourself because it's very taxing on your body.
Oh my god, yeah, you're not kidding. It's almost like being a professional athlete when you're behind the bar. The
Yeah.
all
longer you
right,
do it,
calm down, John. Calm down.
it's true. Think about all the amount of pivots that you have, the hard shaking with tins and ice constantly over and over. If you're in a busy bar on a Friday and you're making hundreds of drinks at the end of the shift, it's a lot of strain it puts on your shoulders and your
Mhm.
arms and your back, especially your lower back, grabbing
Yeah.
ice, scooping,
Yeah.
bending over every
Yeah.
time. Mike, say what you will. It's a professional sport. I don't know
Come on,
what you're
I
saying.
just I'm just trying to keep you honest. That's all. That's all.
I have
I'd say
nothing
I'd say
but fun.
varsity level, maybe.
Yeah, high school
I'd
varsity
say
hurt.
varsity level more than elite.
Yeah, high school varsity. There you
Yeah,
go.
well, I'm third string, and I was a kicker, so no one cares. So, okay, so you've bartended in a ton of different establishments, and you said you started doing some social media things about 4 years ago. It sounds like this kind of happened and
Yeah.
evolved right around the time of COVID, right? Like maybe some formation there, or just after.
Yeah, a little after, yeah, a little after, yeah. So I've wanted to do something on YouTube or some sort of content creation for a long, long time, like probably easily 10 years. I've wanted to do something like that. But the question I always had for myself was, what do I have to contribute, or what do I have to say that is different than what a million other, YouTubers and reviewers are? Like, am I going to review movies? Am I going to review video games? Like, what could I say about, let's say I want to talk about like, I don't know, Star Wars. Like, what could I say about the Phantom Menace that hasn't been said by a million different other creators? So I always hesitated. Plus the fact that I knew nothing about editing and video production and anything that would involve that. 'Cause if I was going to create something, I want to look like something that I would want to watch personally. Not just because it's me, but because like, oh, this is really engaging. I really like this. And so I think that where it all started was I went to my first like real like gaming convention in at the end of 2021. It was Too Many Games in Pennsylvania. And at that convention was pretty much every like YouTube creator that I really admired. James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, was there. Doug Walker, Nostalgia Critic, was there. Scott DeWaz was there. Um, Adam Shub, whose name is Square Painter. He does like a lot of like pixelated art. I actually have a couple of his pieces of art kind of hanging around. There's one right here that's not hung up, where he actually painted this little pixelated artwork of
Oh,
a balloon
sick.
fight. So this is all hand painted, just pixelated. So, and so I got to meet all these people, and I think that's where I really got inspired to kind of like do something on my own. So, but again, I still thought about what was I going to do, and I thought, well, I thought about like, what if I just combined work and play and just did video game inspired drinks? And
Hmm.
so at the end of 2021, COVID, like you said, COVID restrictions were still kind of prevalent where you I still had to wear a mask behind the bar. We could only have so many people at the bar at this point because I'm based out of Massachusetts, so Massachusetts had like had probably similar rules to other states. But so because I worked at a high volume hotel bar, but again, we could only have so many people sitting at the bar, so I had a lot more downtime than usual. So I was just kind of creating cocktails, just trying to come up with something for the new drink menu as well as the creative side of things for possible social media. And I remember I was doing a twist on a drink called a Pearl Harbor. You guys know what that drink is, or
I've probably
No.
made one or two of those
it's
back in the day, but it's a several touch
it's been
tropical tiki cocktail.
y- yeah, it's you see it a lot in like Chinese restaurants. Basically, what it is,
Yeah.
it's just
It's like a riff on
vodka,
an
melon
Army and
liqueur, and
Navy, right?
I don't know if it is. I mean, it's just vodka, melon liqueur, and pineapple juice. So I was doing like a martini version of that, and so it was going to be green in color. I was only going to do a little bit of pineapple juice. I was going to use raspberry vodka instead of regular vodka,
Sure.
and I was going to add a couple of like raspberries as a garnish, like through a skewer. Well, I shake the drink, I pour it into the martini glass, and it's like bright green, which is the color I was going for. And as I'm trying to open the package of raspberries, for some reason it got stuck and they kind of fell out into the drink, and there was a few that were floating in the drink, and I'm looking at it going like, that kind of looks like the Metroid enemies in the Metroid video games. And I thought like, the Metroid Martini, that was the first one. And I thought, okay, that kind of works. It tasted pretty good. So I'm like, what else can I come up with? So I think I made like 4 or 5 different drinks inspired by different video games. Like I did a Zelda drink that was I had a thyme, the spice thyme, like simple syrup behind the bar. So I
Hmm.
made an ocarina of thyme
Hmm.
is why I made
Hey.
drink. I had some Japanese whiskey on my bar for some strange reason,
For the
and
Pearl
so I made a
Harbor,
Moscow.
right?
No, no,
Don't
but
you?
I had that. I
You don't
used
do it.
that
You
for
don't drop that in there at the. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a different recipe. I'm sorry.
no, I didn't drop that
Oh,
in there. No, I'll save that for
Sorry.
the USS Indianapolis. and and so I used the Japanese whiskey for a Moscow Mule, and I'm like, you know what? Let's name it after the guy that created my favorite games of all time. Let's call it the Miyamoto Mule after Shigeru Miyamoto. And so it just
Mm,
kind of snowballed from there. And the videos back then were just really pretty primitive. I would basically have my phone up against a shaker tin in my work uniform with my COVID mask on, just making the drink, and I'd have like music playing from the game. So it was really simple, but for whatever reason, that it attracted an audience pretty early on TikTok. That's where I started. But over the years, I've transitioned over to Instagram a lot more, and I've gotten a bigger audience over there.
mhm,
But that's kind of where it all really began. I've done like different drink series since then, where I'll do multiple drinks for one game. I try to
mhm,
touch on multiple genres and have multiple cocktails where it's not just whiskey drinks or not just tequila drinks. I try to be fairly varied with what I come up with.
mhm.
no, I
It's
love it.
it has kind of a similar like binging with Babish kind of vibe if you're familiar with his YouTube channel.
I love his. That's a huge compliment.
Yeah,
Thank you for
yeah,
that. I really appreciate that.
yeah, yeah,
No, I love it. So whenever
He's
you're
fantastic.
looking,
Yeah,
yeah. And he
whenever you're,
also just started just on his own as well too, which was really cool. He wasn't trained or anything. So sorry, I didn't mean to digress there. Go on.
How dare you, Mike?
And it's
Sorry.
crazy. It's crazy that he's not like a professionally trained chef, because he's really
Yeah,
good at what he
exactly.
does. Like,
Yeah,
he's really fantastic. I mean, the food he comes up with, I'm like, damn, that looks really good. So
yeah.
So when you're looking to create a lot of these like themed cocktails, for the video games and everything that's surrounding them, do you normally find that when you're looking for inspiration, and maybe it's a mix, right? But are you looking specifically for, hey, there's this thing from this game or whatnot? How do I incorporate flavors into it? Or do you start with a flavor and go, oh, maybe it fits into this game? Or, like what are some of those other sources for inspiration for you whenever you're creating content and creating cocktails as well?
I mean, the answer is it's a little bit of both. There are some times where the drink comes first. I'll have the idea for the drink, and I'll be like, okay, what can I put this towards? Like, can I relate this to a
Mhm.
drink? And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. Like lately, I've done more sponsorships with different like liquor companies, trying to promote their brands, and there'll still be gaming elements there. I mean, look at the stuff I have behind me here. It's kind of hard to ignore that stuff. So, um, plus I have like a lot of video game ties that I wear as well. But sometimes the game comes first. I mean, I'll be like, okay, what can I do for a game for this? I'll look at the title and be like, I remember there was an old NES game called Mag Max. It was just kind of a fun shooter game, kind of obscure. And I was like, Mag Max, and then just the term Mag Max Mimosa just kind of came out. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, let's do some sort of a mimosa that will kind of not necessarily be, that'll at least be inspired by maybe just the title of the game. Sometimes I'll try and incorporate colors of the main character into the drink. Like recently, I've done a drink series on Streets of Rage, and a couple of the drinks, they are basically trying to match the attire of certain characters. So for the drink for Skate, who's in Streets of Rage 2 and 3, I think he's in 4 as well. He wears kind of like red skates, yellow shirt, red hat. So the shot that I did for him was like red on the bottom, yellow in the middle, and then
Mhm.
red again on the top. Um, Max was kind of like the big tough guy of the group. He wears these kind of like blue pants with like a little yellow lightning bolt. So I tried to make the drink blue and have like a little lemon peel cut in the shape of like a lightning bolt for them. So
Nice, nice.
um, it can vary. I mean, someone will look at something and be like, "Oh, that definitely reminds me of that game," or be like, "Well, he must have got some connection from it at all from between the game and the drink. So maybe I'll just try and make it at
Mhm.
home." So, and that's why I post the recipes. I want people to make the drinks at home, and every so often I'll get
Yeah.
tagged in a video or a picture where it's like, "Hey, I made this drink that you posted, and once it was really good." I'm like, That's what I want people to do, is try to
Mhm.
not be afraid to create the stuff that I do." So
That's the
Yeah.
fun
Well,
part, right? It's
yeah,
inspiring people to do other things and get creative on their own and keep pushing that envelope forward. Like, that's awesome.
well,
So,
especially when you pull like either a game that people really love or maybe something that's really obscure that not a lot of people know about, and they have that instant
mm,
connection with like, oh, somebody else knows about this game. Kind of
yeah,
would make you want to try that up, even a little bit more.
I
yeah.
mean, shoot,
I mean, I did. I
I'd spend at least 20 drinks in a row doing characters from Super Smash Brothers or, from
oh yeah,
Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat and just blow through the whole series. That sounds awesome.
yeah. I've done a lot of like, again, I'm a Nintendo fanboy from way back when. So like,
Mm.
there's been a lot of Nintendo themed drinks. Like I've done ones for, not a lot for Mario, but a few. I did a whole series on Zelda Majora's Mask. I'm gonna reshoot a lot of those because, as you do this stuff for a while, you do get better. So I'll look back at some of the Majora's Mask drinks and be like, oh, the drinks were good, but like the video could have been a little better. So I think I'm gonna reshoot like
Mhm.
all of those. Um, but I still want to do an Ocarina of Time series. I did a
Yeah.
Metroid series, and those drinks came out fantastic. The Metroid series might be my favorite series overall that I've done, because every drink just came out just, it tasted good. There was a lot of variety to it. And I really liked how I actually did the video. I liked how I edited them together. So I'm like, okay, I am getting better at this, because again, I have no training at all in you
Mhm.
know, video production and editing and stuff like that. And I've just learned by doing, and technology helps. I mean, a lot of the apps that you use for like, TikTok and Instagram editing, like that does help a lot. They do make it a little bit easier for you, and a little more user friendly if you're a noob like me. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, and with like Chat GPT and stuff now, I mean, you can ask it so many
mm,
questions about different programs or anything, and it can help out so much. I mean, it's like a tech assistant right on your computer.
I kind of
Yeah, I
love
mean, I
that too,
try to
though.
use. I like the idea of AI, but it also kind of scares me just 'cause I've seen Terminator too many times. I'm pretty sure that's how Terminator starts. um,
No,
but no, I've
that's why
done
you
AI.
always say please and thank you when you use it.
Yeah, good call. I mostly have used AI for just like some fun pictures, like have here's a picture of me, like can you create me serving drinks in a bar, and I'm serving like different characters from video games, like I'm serving Kratos, I'm serving Snake, I'm serving
Mhm.
Link and Zelda, like just stuff like that. So that's kind of
Mhm.
I don't I've never used AI for like a video or something like that, because I'm kind of
Mhm.
scared what the result could be, and so.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, I also kind of like
Plus, I
too,
like
like
the actual. Yeah.
there's something about, yeah, sure, there's production quality where you have all these editing and things like that, but I think sometimes that kind of material can lose the heart of the creator that's creating the content too every once in a while. And
Abs-
whenever you're doing it
Absolutely.
yourself in your bar with your setup behind you and you're making drinks the same way all the time, with different ingredients, but I think that there's something that's maybe almost as nostalgic as the video games themselves, as you kind of look back on how like the original content creators are creating things. It's just with whatever's in front of me, and I'm posting it to the internet, and I hope people like it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's been. I like to. I like people. I want people to know that it's me. That it's.
Mhm.
I'm the one making the drinks. I'm coming up with the recipes, whether you see me on camera or not. Because I don't appear in every video. Like there's some videos where I need to be on camera, so that's something I need to say. Um, Other times, if I just don't have time, then I'll just be off to the side. You'll see my hands making the drink, and that'll be about it. Where it's because that's just I don't need to. If it's something I need to get out there really quickly, so um, especially like drink series, I'll have to do that because it'll be a lot of drinks I'll need to do, and I'll need to post like one on Monday, then I gotta have another one for Tuesday and for Wednesday. I try to have like for a series to have like all the drinks and all the necessary components for it like at hand. I won't necessarily need to shoot them all in one day, but I would like to at least have some sort of consistency with them coming up so that they're not late. Like I want to post a drink every single day for 7 days. I need to make sure that it's they're done in a timely manner so I can shoot at this time, edit for this at this on this day or whatever at this time. Like one thing I've tried to do is that I treat it more as a job now, because I'm monetized on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, so I at least want to give myself set hours for what I do. So I'm going to work from this time to this time. I'm going to work on do these drinks and try to write out a list of like, okay, here's what we're going to work on today, and if I get through all the lists, great. If I don't, then whatever's at the bottom of my list on that day is going to get moved to the top of my list the next day.
It makes sense. You have to, right? Anything that you put your time and energy
Yeah.
and things that you're passionate and care about, you have to book time for it. I mean, even for us when we do our D&D podcast, we play every single Tuesday night at at 8:30. We all sit down and we know that that's our standing time when we're playing games together and we're recording and
Well, I mean,
working.
it's really
We're having
it's
fun,
working.
but
Yeah, I
like,
don't know. It's all this playing games talk. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a serious
yeah, you're
job,
right.
and you're welcome, John.
Yeah, I am. I feel welcome. But no, I think that's important as a content creator too. I mean, people look forward to when you drop those new videos and new drinks. Like that's the highlight of somebody's day, the highlight of somebody's week. Looking forward to seeing cool stuff that makes them feel good. So like that's important.
Yeah, and I've been very fortunate that I have, besides just, my friends that will watch the content I post, like I've developed like some like really like big fans, and they'll message like, "Hey,
Hmm.
what's coming up next?" Or, "I'm loving this drink series you're doing right now, and oh, this video was really cool, and I made this at home." Like I love getting messages like that, just to know that like there are people who are not just enjoying the content but really enjoying it, because
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. And it's fun for me still. Like I do treat it like it is a job, but it's still fun, and when it's not fun
it's a
anymore, then
passion
maybe it's time for
project.
something
Yeah,
else. It
yeah,
is, and it's taken a while to get to this point. There's still places I want to go. Like I've been saying for a long time, like I want to actually do a recipe book of like all the drinks, stuff like that.
sure.
um my biggest obstacle with that is trying to figure out how to you know write something about a drink that's inspired by a character or an intellectual property that I don't have the rights to. So I don't know how that whole thing
Mm,
works. So I need to kind of really learn about that whole thing. But it's
mhm,
something that I've wanted to do for a long time, to do like an actual, have some sort of physical thing, um, for people to, if they want to buy it, if they want to check it out, then they could. Like right now, I have some merch right now through Bar Top Tees, where it's got t-shirts, hats, hoodies, stuff like that. And then I sell shot glasses with my logo on it, just kind of separately as well. So people can at least
mhm,
get that kind of merch they ever want to, support what I'm doing.
mhm.
Sick. Uh,
So I was curious. I wanted to ask, do any of the drinks that you've ever created for your Gaming Mixologist channel, do they ever make it out into the real world, like at your bar? Like, do they ever make it onto a menu, or do any
or do
people
people
ever
come
come in
in and
after,
order them?
yeah, and
Yeah.
order them after watching your videos?
Yes and yes. At not so much at this current job that I have, but at my previous job when I worked in the hotel bar, I had a few drinks that did get on the menu. Let me see. So, Sunset Rider made on the menu, not once but twice. Two different fall menus. They were about 2 years apart, and both sold extremely well. I believe that I try to. The names usually end up getting changed because my bar manager would like want something else. So, because they're like, "What's a Sunset Rider?" So come with something better. So that drink was
See,
called
but
Smoke and
Sunset, you
Mirrors
know,
instead.
yeah, but
Mhm.
Sunset Rider, I mean, that sounds good. I mean, you wouldn't even know that's a video game if you didn't
I,
know it was a
I
I
think
would
video
it's
put
game.
that
cool.
on
Yeah,
I
my
think it's a cool
menu.
title. I think it's a
yeah.
cool title, So,
Yeah.
so that made it on there. I had a drink that was inspired by Uncharted called Among Thieves. That made it on the menu once.
Great name
Mhm.
for a
Let's
cocktail.
see.
Mhm.
Let's see. I thought so. Yeah. So, but then of course they changed the title of that one as well.
Come
Right.
The Miyamoto
on.
Mule. Yeah, the Miyamoto Mule made it on a drink menu once as well. And then there's a
Did
handful
they
of others
change
at
the name
that
of
at the
that?
hotel bar. Of course they did, but they
Come
let me name
on.
it though. So, but they let me name it. I
Okay.
called it the Karate Kid, and I was shocked they kept Karate Kid. So
You know, that's
Miyamoto
funny.
Mule is so much better. Yeah.
I have a
yeah, I do too.
non-alcoholic cocktail on my menu right now called Karate Kid, which I think is
Nice,
fantastic. It's just a great name
nice.
for a cocktail.
What's in it?
Oh man.
What's in it?
So we have I work with the Pathfinder. They're a fantastic non-alcoholic amaro. So it's basically like an adult cherry coke with non-alcoholic amaro added to it. And it's just fun.
Oh,
It's
nice.
just fun. Yeah, because you
Is
don't
it
you don't
kind of
have
like?
to have
Is
it.
it kind of like? So it's a 9 o'clock tomorrow, so it's not going to be as sweet as like a regular cherry coke. Is that what you kind of did, or?
Correct. So we have like a cherry coke syrup that we reduce down and then add to the amaro. And then you basically just add soda water back into it. I've done it before where
Nice.
you infuse like actual cola nuts in the syrups and things like that. But it's just easier for everyone to be able to replicate a recipe if you simplify things as much as possible, and they don't have to do as much work
Yeah.
like stuffing blue cheese olives for 3 hours before their shift. You know,
Oh
Come
man,
on, dude. Blue cheese olives are delicious. Come on.
I'd get it. I'd
you're
get it
not
done
wrong.
in about an hour's time. So I will say I got good toward the end of my that
That's
shift.
because you're a practiced
I was.
professional.
Professional
Oh, I
stuffer.
was
Yeah.
so. I was so glad the next restaurant I worked at, they just bought them pre-packed. So I was like, yes.
No, it's
Um,
not the
but
same.
at the current restaurant that I work at, one of the he works expo and cooks occasionally, but usually he's on expo. He said, "Hey man, that Sunset Rider drink looks really really good. Like, did you make that here?" And I said, "I have all the ingredients, so yeah. I mean, I can't really let a cinnamon stick on fire to look like a fucking cigar, but sorry language. I'm not if I can swear or not. So,
No, you
Man,
can. Yeah.
but
you
I was
say
like,
whatever the
yeah,
fuck you want.
okay."
It's great.
Okay, cool. Good. So I can't light it like a actual cigar, but I was like, I can, if I have all the ingredients, I can absolutely make it. So, and I've had friends come in where they're like, "Hey, can you make this drink that you posted a while ago?" Like, again, as long as I have the ingredients, and absolutely, yeah,
Mhm.
sir. And they're like, "Oh, this is really good." I'm like, "Yeah, I almost sound like I know what I'm doing." So,
Fake it till
but
you make it.
but that's that's really cool. I mean, the fact that like even if it's somebody I know that like says like, "Hey, I saw your drink. Can you actually make this here so I can actually try it from you?" That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
To know that someone's like that much a fan to be like, "Well, you make drinks. You're at a bar right now. Can you make this for me?"
Mhm.
And if I have all the ingredients, 100% absolutely.
Mhm.
Hell yeah. All right. We're talking
And it's
about
fun. Like if
drinks.
you, and yeah, every so often you have those guests that just they look at the drink menu and just nothing jumps out to them. Be like, "Can you make me something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Just give me an idea of what you're kind of looking for. Is there a base spirit you like? Something sweeter, something more tart? Like, give me a couple ideas and I'll go from there." And I have most of my drinks like just saved in like a Word document on my phone. So I just kind of scroll through,
Mhm.
okay, let's go through vodka drinks. Yeah, let's do that one. So
It's the way you do it. You got to have a little back pocket compendium to keep everything together for guests like that. It makes your
yeah.
life so
Yeah,
much easier.
or, you could use a great app like Spec, That's also a great option.
Sure, you've probably heard the commercial at some point in this episode, and if you haven't yet, it's coming up, I promise. But we work with Spec to do all of our recipes and stuff too. We have like over 500 in there now, which is kind of crazy. So it's sick. All right, we've been talking about cocktails. I want to talk about video games just a little
Let's do it.
bit here. Let's nerd out.
Let's do it.
But first, I want to know, what was your first video game you remember having as a kid? Like, what was that first one?
So the first one I remember having was my dad had a ColecoVision way back in the early 80s. Um, you know what that is? ColecoVision was a competitor to Atari. It was released in 1982, and what was cool about it was that the system had basically the best graphics you could get other than the arcade for a certain game. So on a home console, it was really cool. The phone, the controller looked like an actual like old phone. Like had a numerical pad,
This
buttons
is
on the
like
side,
actually a
this really
remote
stiff
control.
joystick. It was not a remote control. It had like it had like a twisting phone cord like you'd have to your old phone on the wall with a rotary phone. So um, it was it was my first console that I had was my dad's, like I said. My I had some friends that had Atari, but I never actually played much Atari growing up. But then I got my NES for I think it was my 8th birthday, and I was hooked just after that.
Heck yeah, what
But the
was the
first actual
game?
game, I think it was probably like
They come with Punch
maybe
Out or
Venture.
Duck Hunter or
Oh, on Nintendo, on Coleco was probably something like Venture or Smurfs Adventure or Pit Stop or something. I don't remember what it would have been. On Nintendo, the first game I played, it was probably Super Mario. Honestly,
Mhm.
I played a lot of Super Mario, a lot of Punch Out, a lot of Zelda, Kung Fu, um, all those initial like early classics for the NES.
Mhm.
And
so
my
many good
kids,
ones.
I'll share those games with my kids, and it's funny. Like you don't realize how hard those games were until you watch your children play them, and it's kind of like
Oh my dude, they are
because I was.
so much. I mean, Dark Souls doesn't
Oh
hold
my
a
god, yeah.
candle to most of those games.
Oh, I
Absolutely does
struggle.
not. So I like there was one day where my oldest son was like sitting like reading next to me, and I'm just kind of just playing Mega Man 2, just kind of messing around, play through the game, and then like a couple weeks later, he's like, "Hey, Dad, can I play Mega Man 2?" I'm like, "Oh, of course, go right ahead."
You can
And so he goes,
try.
"Who should I start with?" Yeah, so he picked I think he picked Flashman or Metal Man to start with, and he got slaughtered in the first like 30 seconds. Like, this game's really hard. Is there an easier difficulty? I'm like, you're on it, dude.
Yeah, there's one.
So,
There's one difficulty.
yeah. And even on like on the when we play those games on the Switch, because the Switch has like rewind where you can redo a part if you mess up it. Even still, they're just like, man, these are hard. And I'm like, they are. So a lot of those games have not aged that well for my kids. They
Mhm.
like they like Super Metroid on Super Nintendo. That's got a fairly fair difficulty, I think. But the older NES games, they struggle with them a lot. So
Yeah. Well, they kinda had to be harder too for to be able to stretch the game's value out, because if it was easy to beat, you'd be done with it so quick but if you can get that game and it takes you literally, weeks or months to actually beat it, you do get your money's worth.
well, think about this as well. Back in the day, you used to be able to rent games in the video store. So if you had
Mhm.
a 2 or 3 day rental and couldn't beat the game, you need to either rent it again or be like, I'm just gonna go buy the thing. So it's a
I
good
mean, there
sales
were
Mhm.
marketing.
there were a couple games that were specifically designed to kind of be difficult to rent that way. Like one of the famous ones is the Lion King game. That was
Well, are you
like
sure it was
nearly
Wow.
designed to be that way? Because I still see videos of people trying to beat that to this day and losing their minds.
and even
I can't do it.
Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask back in the day was actually tough. If you were a
That
kid that
was
was
that
playing
was
that game
hard.
and you can't figure out how to get the moon to stop crashing into the town,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
That was a
that
difficult one.
that's actually pretty hard if you can't figure out the mechanics or have a friend who can help you, or like the internet didn't really exist. I can't just go beep boop boop. There's the answer on Google, or watch a
Yeah,
video
Yeah.
of somebody playing the
yeah,
game
yeah.
to give me the walkthrough cheat.
Yeah, you had to go buy the game books, the guides.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a whole different
that's how
era of
that's
gaming.
yeah, that's how they sold strategy guides and all those things.
Mhm.
So yeah, and yeah, I mean, those it's a there's a reason why they have the term NES hard. So some of them are
God,
brutal.
it's so true. Mike, what was your first video game that you remember having?
Uh, so the first video game I actually remember was Doom and Heretic when was sitting on my dad's lap watching him play. Like that's
That's
my
awesome.
first memories of video games. Probably shouldn't have been, but like I just remember sitting and watching. But it was also NES and probably like Super Mario, but then like Battletoads and that, and then into the N64, Smash Bros, Zelda, all that kind of stuff. But we started with the NES and Game Boys and stuff like that. What about you, John?
Ooh, so I remember watching all of like my neighborhood friends and like their older siblings playing, like the NES, like all the Super Marios. I was never allowed to like touch the controller and play. I was only ever able to like play Duck Hunt and like shoot the screen. And they're like, "Good job, bud!" Like, awesome, thank you so much.
Wait, you weren't like your parents wouldn't allow it, or they
I didn't
wouldn't
have a
let you
game
play?
system until I was 8 years old,
Your
and I
friends
had
wouldn't let you play the games?
it was like their older sibling systems. So like we were all like
Okay,
trying to like grab the controllers and
gotcha.
play, and like they're like
Okay.
absolutely not gonna make mud pies outside. Like get out of here, you know,
Uh,
go eat rocks. But I didn't have a game system myself until I was 8, and I had a Game Boy. I had like the original Game Boy, the big, thick, heavy bad boy. Whenever it first
mhm.
came out, and my first two games were there. It is.
Right
Oh,
there.
look at that!
Yeah.
Look at that beautiful thing. So great. I had two games. I had the Donkey Kong Country game, which was the yellow cartridge, I believe, whenever it first
Mhm.
came out.
Yep.
I had Pokemon Blue.
Mhm.
Those were my first games that like I physically like purchased and was like able to play them and get excited about them.
Yeah.
This was before
You
you.
know
That
it's
was when
tough
you
when
were
you're not
allowed
even.
to do that. Like we were
You
able
know
to
it's tough when
play
you're not even
Game
allowed to be
Boys.
Luigi. You
What?
know it's tough when you're not even allowed to be. You know it's tough when you're not even allowed to be Luigi.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be Luigi. Or that's like when your older sibling hands you the controller that's not even plugged in, and like, oh yeah, you're that racer right there. Just follow that one the whole time, and you're sitting next to him, and you're like, yeah, I'm
See,
doing so good.
I grew up with three younger brothers, so especially when the N64 came out and there were four controllers, we had several games that got taken away and hidden in the ceiling, like James Bond 007. That was one that, after there was enough screaming and controllers broken, the parents took that one away for good. So,
Goldeneye, the
yeah,
best.
that was
God,
so good, dude. I'd still play it, man.
you got to do slaps only. To run around and try and kill people with just doing karate chops. Heck yeah. All right, so I have a follow up question for you. Let's jump into a little bit more modern time. You mentioned you have kids. You are actually having to work all the time. You are doing social media content. With creating drinks. How do you find time to play games, especially like the big games now that take a little bit longer to play than maybe the ones back in the
I really don't. I have we have a Switch. I mean, the kids got a Switch for Christmas a few years ago, and you know, my kids were raised on Zelda games, so the bigger games
Hmm.
I've played has been just like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which I just beat for the first time recently. So um it's just a lot. I mean, I'd play for a little while, like when I would get out of work, but then like I look at the clock and I'm like, it's 3 a.m. I'm getting too old for this shit for being up there. Like I remember I remember when Zelda Twilight Princess came out, and the very first night I got it, I played it till like 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, those days are just nuts.
Hmm.
Not they shouldn't be repeated for me at this age. So
Hmm.
I don't have a lot of time for the bigger ones, so I'll go retro because like I can at least save and come back to something, or you know play something like old school like Contra that I can beat in about 20 minutes. It's just like I
Hmm.
can have fun with it and move on to the next thing. So
Hmm.
um for me to really like, I don't have like a really long like epic game session. I mean, like I said, I work full time and I have my kids as well, so
Hmm.
um I don't play as much as I used to, and that's okay. I don't mind it. So
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, retirement is going to be so much better for us. And I mean like nursing home retirement. Like, all these
Oh
other
God, yeah,
generations had it so bad, we can just get lost in virtual reality, luckily. So, I mean, if the
yeah.
world isn't destroyed by then.
We my group of friends, we have super tight. We've been friends since we were all like 5, 6 years old. We all still like hang out together and everything. But we always said like our kids can just move us into the same nursing home together, and we can all
Land
just,
party.
just stick us there. We'll
Yeah.
hang up a sheet in the middle of the room, and we'll play Halo on either side of it.
Yeah,
Two TVs hooked up.
exactly.
Like, we're ready to
Nice.
go. It's not going to be that hard. Like,
Yeah.
we're good. We're occupied. Go live your lives.
Yeah. You look,
Oh,
they're happy. They're enjoying themselves. They're not hurting anybody, so they're not hurting themselves. Let them enjoy themselves.
that's right.
Mhm.
All right, I do have to ask you a question about the glove in the background because I've seen it in a couple of your videos and it's in a couple of your
Yep.
photos. So, what is this thing? It looks pretty sick.
So that is the Power Glove. So back in the 80s, the Power Glove was a peripheral type controller you could use for NES games. There's it's strapped to a old paint can here, so if I can get the thing out. So actually, another thing that led to me getting, starting game mixologist stuff was that I was collecting Nintendo memorabilia just to have it. So I bought the Power Glove just to have it. I mean, does it
So
work?
sick.
No, it's terrible. It's yeah. Rob the Robot,
No,
same thing.
it's terrible.
I always wanted Rob as a kid. I never had him as a kid, so I want him just as a display. And he's a display on my bar. He appears in videos, but the most famous thing with the Power Glove to see what it does is in the movie The Wizard. There's a kid in there named Lucas who it's about these kids going to a video game competition out in California. It was basically like a 90-minute Nintendo commercial. Um, and Lucas is like the cool teenager who's like, I'm the best at Nintendo, blah blah blah. So he pulls out the Power Glove and you get to see him play Rad Racer and beat the first level. Because the way you would move the controller, the way you would move your player would be like you could flick your finger or turn your hand this way or that way or rev an engine or stuff like that to get the thing to work. It was ambitious at the time,
Mhm.
kind of what motion controls would be like on the Wii, 15 years later. But
Mhm.
yeah, back then it was a piece of shit. It was a piece of shit bigger than it is now. But it's one of those things nostalgic wise. Like I said, I want to collect Nintendo memorabilia. If you're collecting Nintendo memorabilia, you got to get yourself Power Glove. So, but
Gotta
the
get a
main thing
power
I
glove, of
wanted
course.
was I wanted Rob. Like Rob is what I really wanted to actually have him display at my bar. I'm told that Rob works. I bought him on eBay, but the problem is Rob only works on a CRT TV. So if you
Oh.
Oh, you
try
have one
using
of those. You
Rob,
definitely have a couple of those laying around, right?
I don't have any in my house. Maybe you do in yours, but
No, I don't.
but a lot of those Nintendo peripherals that you would use for the screen, like if you try using like the gun, which I got one of each. So I got a gray one, I got an orange
I
one.
have it.
Um, they do not work on modern flat screen TVs.
Mm.
So
That's so interesting. I haven't tried that.
it
So
has to be on
that's
the big tube CRT TVs. Rob won't work on it either. So
Mhm.
they're just display, but again, they're props and videos more than anything else. So like Rob will be
Yeah.
my bar back in some videos. During some of the bartending stories, I'll get aggravated with a guest, just pull up the light gun and I'll shoot them with the I make the sound from Duck Hunt where
oh, that's good.
It's great. It reminds
Okay.
me of I've seen that tweet or meme floating around every now and then. It's like, what's something you could say to a younger person these days and they wouldn't understand? It's like video games only used to work on channel 3. It's like,
Yep.
Oh, that's true.
yep.
Oh, God. Heck
Yep.
yeah. All right. So we always like to ask this question of every guest who comes on the show. And, it's such an important question because it kind of links all of us together as hospitality professionals. But what was your favorite shift that you've ever worked over the years?
Favorite shift. That's hard to say. It would probably have to be when I worked on a cruise ship for a long time, for about 5 years. It was
Mm.
the Spirit of Boston, and it's a group of people. It's my favorite crew I ever worked with because like everyone was just it was just a tight knit group, and that when I first started working there, I was honestly like intimidated because like this group was so tight. Like, there's no way I'm gonna fit it because again, I'm a nerd. I'm an introvert. So like, it's like I'm an introvert with an extrovert job. So I'm like, how am I gonna fit with these people? And I was just being myself, and they just took me in as one of their own, which is great. So the cruise that I liked the most was we did an '80s cruise. And so I got to be with some of my favorite coworkers. We all dressed up 80s wise. I dressed
You
up as Hulk
you
Hogan.
you bartended with the Power Glove, didn't you?
I didn't. I dressed up as Hulk Hogan for that cruise. So
So good.
Hell yeah, brother.
rest in peace, Hulk
Hell
Hogan.
yeah, brother.
But
Rest
'cause
in
I was,
peace.
'cause I was a big wrestling fan growing up, and I'm like, this is before Hogan had his downfall. But it was fun. I mean, my friend Diane was dressed as like this crazy like it was a cross between like Barbie and Debbie Gibson. It was just such a cool outfit, and just we had a good time. That was probably if I had to choose one shift overall, it'd probably be that one. But I've
Nice.
also had the pleasure of serving like some. I've worked a lot of weddings over the years. So those have been fun and as well as chaos. I've got stories for days on those. Um, but yeah, if I had to choose one, it'd probably be that '80s cruise. It was a lot of fun.
We
Nice, love it.
we always like asking this question too because it's one of those things like we all have a favorite shift. We all have those memories. We have a lot of shifts that we probably don't remember in between that were also just as much fun. But
Mhm.
it's the
Yeah.
ones that we are working with the people we care about, the people we have fun with, the people that welcome us into their family, that we have a great time with. Those are the moments of why we keep coming back because
Yeah,
it
especially if
is.
you get to dress up as Hulk Hogan along the way, man.
Mm. I was hoping someone dressed up as Randy Savage, but no such luck. So, but yeah,
You got to plan
I'm
that
sure
stuff
when
out,
when I yeah, well, I didn't tell anybody what I was dressing up as. I remember, so like I wanted people to be surprised. So like I grabbed the costume, I went into the bathroom to change. I didn't tell anybody what I was dressing up as. So I was like, okay, come on out, and then I walk out, and they saw me as Hulk Hogan, were like, oh my god.
It's so good. So
My arms are still not 24 inches though. They're only 20. They're only 20. So
I think you got both of us beat, so you're doing just fine. I won't
no,
speak for you, Mike, but
No, it does. It
they
does.
look they looked a lot better a few years ago. So they're like I said, I'm a little out of shape at this point, to say the least. Well, round is a shape, so
round is a shape. It's usually around most bartenders' bellies, but that's fine. Uh,
that's where mine. That's where mine is. So that's where mine is. Trust me.
you're dad. You get a free pass. All right. So we like to do some shout outs at the end of the episode because people got to find you. So we'll throw it over to you first. Where can people find you on social media? Where can they interact with you? Where's the best place?
Yeah, so you can find me at the Gaming Mixologist on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Um, I have links on my Instagram for my shot glass shop, for my merch on Bar Top Tees. I'm on Facebook, but I'm under my real name. So, but yeah, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can find me at the Gaming Mixologist.
Love that. Make sure you like all the things, interact, comment, tell him what your favorite drinks are. Tell him what series you want to see. What's your favorite game? He'll make them for you. It's pretty sick.
Mhm. I do take requests. I've got a lot going on for October, but I do take a lot. I do take requests all the time. So, if someone has something that's like, oh, you make a drink for this game, like, yeah, see what I can come up with. So,
You
Yeah.
said Metroidvania was one of the first drink series that you were most proud of, if I
mhm.
remember correctly. It reminds me
Yeah,
because
Metro for sure. Yeah.
I kind of, or yeah, I said Metroidvania, but yes, Metroid. So I kind of quit gaming for quite a while. Like got into Skyrim, 10 years ago, pretty heavily, but then I kind of quit, and I discovered Hollow Knight. And
Yeah.
it's a Metroidvania if you're not familiar with it, but it's the
Oh yeah. Oh,
Metroidvania
it's great.
genre comes from Metroid and Castlevania, and fell in love with that masterpiece of a game. And then Silksong was just released, so I don't know if you've done anything on that series, but yeah, I'd love to see something on that.
I haven't done anything for Hollow Knight. The game is fun. I have played it. I have a friend who,
Hmm.
ironically, she cosplays as Samus, and she also cosplays as the main character in Hollow Knight as well. So,
Oh, sick.
Nice,
Samus
very
is kind
cool.
of her bread and butter.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I could definitely something for Hollow Knight. I mean, I'd probably want to replicate the mask somehow, like the white with the points on top, like it's like maybe like as a garnish of some sort. I'd have to figure out something for that one, but
No,
that's
yeah, I'm
definitely
just
a
throwing it out. Well,
possibility for sure. Yeah.
it's Silk Song just dropped like last week, so the buzz is hyped up right now as well, because that was very long and expected.
I'll definitely check out Silk Song. I haven't tried that one yet.
It's the next one from Team Cherry that did Hollow Knight, and there was just people were awaiting it, and when was it going to drop? When was it going to drop? And it just dropped. So I mean, everybody's talking about it right now.
Hell yeah,
nice. I'll check it out.
Mike, other than shouting out Silk Song and Hollow Knight, you got any other shout outs for us tonight?
Sure. Go check out the Bartender Amp podcast at BRP Drink Along. Sometimes we do podcast stuff. You never know. So you can check us out if you want. Where we'll not talk about Silk Song or Hollow Knight or anything else.
Wow, Mike, that was such an uplifting shout out for your other podcast.
Yeah.
It's so good. God, Steve's going to be so proud of you.
Steve doesn't listen to this. You know that. He doesn't even listen to our podcast.
That's true. He's like Scott. So I have a couple shout outs tonight, and it's for my favorite podcast. It's not the Bartender Rant podcast. It's actually Bardtenders right here. You can check us out on social media at Bardtenders. Check out our website at www.bardtender.com. Awesome resources for mental health, wellness, for creating cocktails, for spirit knowledge, for anything you look for. It's all there. It's 100% free. We always say education should be free. It's the one thing you learn that no one can take from you. So get after it. And also, we love doing cool shit with cool people like the Gaming Mixologist. So slide into those DMs or shoot us an email at contact@bardtender.com. Also, Mike, you know what I love?
Would that be reviews?
I do. I love 5-star reviews and 5 stars only.
5-star reviews.
5 stars only. That's right. And I also heard a rumor that if you roast us in the comments or roast us in a review, we'll read that live at the end of an episode.
If you give us 5 stars, that's the deal. You give us 5 stars, you can say whatever you want, and we'll read it. I mean, you can say whatever you want. We may not read it. Depends on what you put in there.
Oh no, I'll read it.
But
I will read it.
Okay, I will. I'll test you. I can make a bunch of fake accounts, buddy. We'll see what you're willing to say on a recorded mic. All right.
That's so genuine. I love that for you. I know what Mike's doing instead of playing Silk Song tonight. It's gonna be so much fun.
If they leave you a 5-star review, it's only fair. So
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's a mutual exchange of goods. 5-star review, you can roast us, and the world gets to know about it. I think that's a win-win.
You can also just leave 5 stars and say something nice or not say anything at all. But
it's true.
we did
get a really nice one. We got one.
Is that from your mom?
No, she subscribes to the Patreon, which you guys should too. But we did get one last month. It was titled "Never Miss an Episode." Love these guys. 5 stars from Ali Cheza. So shout out to them. I think
thanks, Ali.
I actually think Ali's Scott's girlfriend's friend, the one that came to our event out at Manifest Distillery where we did the Quest End whiskey.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah. Thank you again, Frankie, for coming on the show. Gaming Mixologist, nerding out with us, talking about cocktails, telling your story, and looking forward to all the awesome things you create.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. This is a lot of fun. So I'm grateful you guys had me on. So thank you so much.
Hell yeah, man. Or should I say hell yeah, brother?
Hell yeah, brother. All right. On that bombshell, let's clock out. Let's get out of here. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.